What's up, and welcome back to How to Play Dark Souls. Today we are going to go and fight the next boss. There's a couple of things I want to do first, though. First, let's go up this tunnel, because there's an item we can get up here. And if you are planning on using dragon equipment in the game, for instance, if you shot off the drake's tail, that big dragon on the bridge, if you shot off the drake's tail and got the drake sword, you would need what's in this box in order to reinforce that weapon and make it stronger. This is a dragon scale. And that's what dragon scales are used for. Just like you use titanite to upgrade a regular weapon, you use dragon scales to upgrade dragon weapons. So the drake sword is one of those. There's a number of different dragon equipment in the game that you need dragon scales to reinforce them with. There are a couple of enemies that drop dragon scales, though they're pretty rare, but when we get to that point, I'll show you how you can obtain those. In the meantime, I actually am trying to get an NPC to invade me. Not a player, but an NPC. There's an NPC called Man-Eater Mildred that will invade you in this area right here if you're in human form. So I'm going to kind of just hang out around here, and eventually this is usually the spot where I can get her to invade me most often. So if it takes a long time, I will edit that out, but in the meantime, I'll just kind of kill some of these guys that are close by. And real quickly, maybe I'll show you where the ninja is. He's right over here. Last time I didn't actually show you, but he's right behind kind of this plank of wood. So keep that in mind, because we're going to need to use that as an advantage when we decide to fight those two. But, oh, here she is. Okay. So the Dark Spirit, Man-Eater Mildred, has invaded. So, the reason I want to do this is because if we defeat Mildred in this fight, and she's actually pretty easy, she does have the Butcher's Knife, which is a pretty heavy sword. Can do a lot of damage, but she's slow, so it's easy to get around her and get backstabs. But if you defeat her in battle here, you can then summon her for the boss fight, which is going to be extremely helpful. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Almost got her here. Let's get rid of these mosquitoes. They're pretty annoying. Alright, we got her. So she drops humanity, and I believe also that weapon that she had, which was a butcher's knife. Not something I'm going to use, but it's there for you if you would like to try it out. It's very much a strength weapon. And as I've mentioned a number of times, I'm going for more of a dexterity build, so... can't save, looks like, so... Or use the bonfire, I mean. Let's just go ahead and head towards the boss now. Now, you might want to follow the path specifically that I am taking you on, because there are a lot of these big, heavy enemies in this area that'll throw boulders and rocks at you and stuff. Oh, here's a good opportunity to show the difference between poison and toxic. In the last episode, you saw how quickly toxic kills you. It's like really insane. Poison is much more manageable. So, don't really worry too much about running through this bog and getting poisoned, because I do have a couple of purple moss clumps that I can use. And it just doesn't kill you nearly as fast, so it's really not that big of a deal. Toxic is a totally different story. Make sure you come over here to the end of the map and run up this direction, and don't, it's freaking mosquitoes, man. They will follow you to the edge of the earth. It's really annoying. What was I saying? Frick. Was I saying something about purple moss clumps? Something like that. Oh, those guys over there. You can see one of them now. Those big guys over there. We want to avoid them, so just kind of run around the outside of the map the way that I did and approach the boss from this direction, and you can just kind of skip past those guys altogether. Makes it much easier. So kind of run up this way, up all this webbing. Kind of a little cavern entrance here we want to come into. This is Quelaag's domain. And you'll see these guys up here that are kind of crawling on the ground with these huge egg sacs growing on their backs. Do not attack them. I want to gain access to a covenant in this area, and so I'm not going to attack them. Don't worry, they won't attack you. They'll leave you alone, so just leave them alone. But the reason I want to get into that Covenant is because we'll get a new fire spell that's really powerful. But let's go ahead and summon Mildred here. And Mildred is extremely useful in this fight because it really helps to have the boss's attention diverted away from you. This boss is one that requires a lot of patience. It has a pretty unpredictable attack pattern. And so we're going to use Mildred to take all those hits while we kind of hang back and really kind of stay patient and watch its patterns so that we don't get caught in an attack that could really, you know, one-shot us, or at least close to one-shot us at this point. There's nothing more frustrating in any game than being one-shotted by a boss. So if you want to avoid that with this boss and fighting it, you know, over and over until you really learn the attack patterns, it's really nice to be able to be conservative in this fight and just kind of stay back and just take small chips out of this boss, you know, when you see the opportunity. And that's what Mildred helps you to do. So, one thing you want to try and do, one thing to keep in mind is that Quelaag here will belch this lava all over the place, which can make the arena smaller than it actually is because she can kind of block you in. So you have to take account of that because the lava does a lot of damage if you step on it. So watch out for that. She'll also jump after you and belch at you like this. So just keep your distance, and hopefully Mildred will, at some point, come over here and actually fight with me. But when she gets close like this, she has kind of a couple different sword attacks she does. Those are easy to avoid if you just stick really close to the body like this. She actually can't hit you with them. So you get a couple of hits off. She comes up real close to you like this. Just get a couple hits and then back up, and watch out for that move when she picks her legs up and comes down. That's really strong. There's another one she does where she kind of, it's hard to explain because it's kind of hard to see. You see it there though. She kind of like almost, see how those were almost exactly the same? This is really hard to describe. She'll kind of like build up for this attack, and sometimes it's nothing more than a down stab like that. Sometimes she's belching lava, and sometimes she'll do this big area of effect attack. You can't ever really be sure. That one kills. If you get hit with that one without blocking, even when you're blocking it does a lot of damage, but if you get hit with that one, like, and you're totally open, it will probably one-shot you. So you really have to keep an eye on the boss's body language and get out of that area if you kind of see her getting into that position where she's about to do something. The problem with it, unfortunately, is that you don't really know. It's kind of hard to tell whether she's going to belch lava or do that big area of effect attack or just do a down stab. So it takes a lot of practice to read the boss. But in the meantime, Mildred has no reservations, and she has a lot of HP and can take a lot of hits. So she can kind of keep chipping away at the boss even though you're staying back a little bit and being reserved. So feel free to be as patient as you need to be on this fight, as long as Mildred is with you. Kind of have Mildred do a lot of the grunt work, the what do you call them, the tank work. And you kind of just come in when you need to. And this is a good fight to be a magic build on, so that you can do damage from afar. But I'm not a magic build, unfortunately, so this is kind of the best way for my build to take on this fight. Of course, that doesn't mean that this boss is unbeatable without summoning someone. It's definitely possible. I've done it a number of times, but if you're new at the game, this is definitely the best way to approach it until you learn the attack patterns and you learn what to look for, because it's very unpredictable unless you know specifically what to look for. So, ooh, I almost died there. See, that's what you gotta watch out for, too. It can be a pretty tough fight. This is one of the tougher fights in the game, in my opinion. Just because it is so unpredictable, because she can box you into areas by trapping you in lava. You have to really be aware of your surroundings. But, like any boss, if you know what to do beforehand, and if you know how helpful, you know, NPCs can be, it shouldn't be too hard. It shouldn't take you more than once or twice, really. So it looks like Mildred has dealt the final blow, and we get the soul of Quelaag. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this in the past. You want to hold on to the souls of bosses. You can use them just the same way with any other soul item, and you get, you know, a bunch of souls. But don't do that yet. Hold on to them because you can make unique weapons with the boss souls a little bit later on in the game. So just make sure you hold on to them until you know, like, exactly which weapons, which unique weapons, which, like, boss soul weapons you want to try and go for. And then you can use the others accordingly. But just keep that in mind. Don't use them yet. And if we pull this lever, we will ring the second bell of awakening. And that will open up a brand new area to us. It's an area I probably won't go into just yet. I still want to go into the depths first. So, anyways, but this will basically open up the next major area of the game. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm going to head back to the bonfire, repair my stuff, and then now that I have enough souls, I'm going to buy the washing pole, which was a weapon we could buy from Shiva, and then I think I'm going to kill him and his bodyguard, and get the ring that I'm looking for from the ninja character. So let's go ahead and repair all this stuff. Buy that washing pole. And the washing pole is a very similar sword to the one I have right now. Just remember that really the major difference is that it's a lot longer. So it gives you a much wider reach of attack, which is really helpful. So that's the reason I want to get the washing pole from him. Now, you don't necessarily have to kill Shiva. One thing you can do is kill the ninja companion guy, and then go get your sins absolved, and then Shiva will no longer be hostile towards you. But I find it easier to kill them one at a time. I don't like having to fight them both at once. So, and there's nothing here, there's nothing that he sells that I really want except for this. So now that I have this, none of those other things I'm really looking to buy later on. So I'm okay with just killing him. But if there's something there that you want, one of those other weapons, one of the demon weapons or something like that, or maybe that ring he was selling, then make sure you go ahead and don't kill him here. But I already know that there's nothing from him that I'm going to want for this character, so I'm going to go ahead and kill him. No, he's not too bad, and remember how I was saying we wanted... You see how the ninja there in the background is trying to get to us, but he's stuck behind the wall? That's what I was trying to have you keep your eye on earlier. You can kind of keep him trapped back there, and you'll be able to just fight Shiva alone. Looks like he's trapped himself behind the wall, so I can kind of just hit him through the wall here and finish him off. One more hit should do it, I think. Or one more. Wait, what? What? No. This is unacceptable. You know what, Shiva? I would have given you and your boyfriend a quick and honorable death, but now you have invoked my wrath. This will not stand. Now you must be punished. I will hunt you down and I will massacre you. And not you alone. No, that time has passed. Now I will hunt down and destroy all of your Covenant brothers as well. I had a mind to spare them, but no longer. Because of this treachery, you shall suffer under the wrath of my sword, and you shall meet your end in pitiless dishonor. I will shame you with every blow, and you will die knowing that all of this could have been avoided had you just let me take what was required.
Villain, thou hast used us most foully, thine own family.
If you think I care at all...
No mercy shall be shown.
Who's left to kill me? I've killed every single one of your people. You have nothing. You have nothing to threaten me with at all. Anyways, freak. this is what we came for, the dark wood grain ring. So the way this thing works is you put it on, and if you're below 25% of your maximum equip load, your roll command will become a kind of this flip command, which is faster. Looks like I'm still a little too heavy to use it if I have all this equipment on. But if I, let's see, if I just change my armor or something, I should be able to do it. But it does a couple of things that are really cool. First of all, your invulnerability, when you roll, there's 12 frames basically of invulnerability for a regular roll. But when you're rolling with the wood grain ring, you're actually going to be invulnerable for 14 frames, which is really nice. So you're invulnerable for longer, and if you're going to be walking over lava, and you're rather than running or walking over lava, if you roll over it with the wood grain ring, it actually does like half of the amount of damage. So it's a pretty cool ring. I'll talk a little bit more about it in the next episode, because the way I want to use it is I need to stay, well, the only way to use it is to stay underneath 25% of your max equip load, which I'm not doing if I'm wearing certain armors. So we're going to kind of make some plans, or at least I am, for armor that I'm going to be wearing in the future, so that I can get my endurance up to the correct level so that I'll be able to keep my equip load underneath 25. So that's kind of my goal. So I may go a little bit above 40 on my endurance, just so that I'll be able to equip the correct armor down the line. But anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any more questions. Peace!